Hold up. This isn't some cheesy kid show. This is Kids in the Tank, a young perspective on business from high school students.
Welcome to Kids in the Tank. I'm Zach. With me in the tank are Octavio, Hannah, and Breeza. Today we are honored to have Eric Kai as our special guest. Eric is currently the Chief Operating Officer for Boxycharm. Eric Kai, you are officially in the hot seat.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
All right, so Eric, what's your most embarrassing moment from your teen years?
Oh, for my teen years?
Yeah.
Jeez.
If you have any.
Yeah, I'm sure I do. I haven't thought about my teen years in a while, though. Probably has something to do with, I was a wrestler in high school. And being out there alone with, especially when I had no idea what I was doing out there, I had some pretty embarrassing losses, playing that sport. So it was probably one of those.
Eric, I can actually relate to you on that. This is Zach, by the way, but
yeah.
I'm a senior this year. My freshman and sophomore year, I can relate to some of those embarrassing moments out on the mat.
Yeah, I ended up being okay by the time I was a senior, but freshman year was really rough.
Yeah, I feel you there.
All right, now Eric, how has your experience as Director of Merchandising influenced what you do now?
It probably the biggest influence is just the people management piece of it. I hired in the 4 years that I was at Chewy, I hired about 150 people. And just the ability to be able to kind of assess and understand who's going to be successful in that kind of environment has helped me immensely in the role that I'm in now, as I'm hiring, directors and vice presidents and, CMOs and CFOs myself. You make mistakes on those type of hires and they can have real meaningful impact on your business. So having the opportunity to be able to do that at a lot of different levels in the organization that early in my career was very valuable.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what's the best financial advice you have for our generation?
Best financial advice. That's a tough one. You guys are dealing with a lot of different challenges than I had to deal with, especially college costs being so much higher than they were when I went through it. Probably the best advice would be, as your pay increases throughout your career, don't increase your expenses the same amount. I've seen a lot of people who have grown in their careers, and every time they get a 10% raise, they increase their expenses 10% or sometimes 15%. And I feel like those kind of people kind of never really get ahead, and all of a sudden they'll be making $150,000 a year and feel like they don't have any money because they always just increase their expenses a little bit. So certainly enjoy the fact if you get the opportunity to increase compensation, but don't spend it all as soon as you get it. Allow yourself to save some of that for a rainy day.
Thank you. And then one more question, Eric. How did you go from working with a company that distributes pet supplies to a company that distributes makeup? That's quite a jump there.
Yeah. I like to say I'm a widget guy. I really don't become that passionate about the product. If I go all the way back to my time at Target, I've sold everything from soda to lawn furniture to toys to my time at Best Buy, I sold CDs. To my time at Amazon, I sold vitamins. To pet food to cosmetics. So I'm more passionate about and apply my skills more to the back end operations of the business, finance, technology implementation, customer acquisition, which although it's slightly different by the product type, doesn't really vary all that much. I also find it challenging to learn a new business. So I like the idea that you can jump from category to category.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Eric,
Yep.
you said you went to college after high school, but looking at our generation now, do you think it's even worth going to college?
I think that's a personal question. For some people it is, for other people it isn't. I also think it doesn't always have to be a yes or no college experience. I think, going to a smaller school for the first 2 years to get your prereqs out, and kind of spend a little bit more time thinking what you want to do so you can pick the right school for your graduate degree, because transferability is so much better. I don't think there's a problem with taking a year off. Like, sometimes people are in such a rush to get their career and their life going that they're not afraid to take a year off and do something different, travel, educate yourself in a different way for a year, through an internship after high school or something like that. I think you have to think about what you want to do. And I guess the two things I would caution is don't be in a rush, and don't feel compelled to do what everybody else is doing. Like, don't just fall into the kind of ants marching mode. Take the time and just decide what you're going to be passionate about, and you can come back to college a year later.
All right, thank you.
And would you have seen yourself doing this about 10 years ago, or did you have a totally different picture for yourself?
Totally different picture. I definitely thought that I was going to be in marketing, probably on the creative advertising side, making TV commercials, doing the much more visual components of marketing. I totally overlooked my skill set and propensity for math and technology, which is ultimately, I guess at the time I didn't think I would be passionate about it, but once I figured out how I could use it, I've kind of steered my career in that direction.
All right, thank you.
Okay, were there any times you second-guessed yourself about what you wanted to major in school? And if so, what were some of the other majors you had in mind?
Yeah, political science is the one that I even thought about minoring in political science, and I still think about getting involved in politics. I also just think there's a lot of really challenging problems in political science, that if you can sift out the emotion and rhetoric, are kind of fun and challenging to think about. But I never ended up heading down that path. I thought about being a lawyer at some point, and political science was a good kind of stepping stone into a law degree.
Thank you.
All right, Eric, thank you for answering all of our questions. We'll now be moving on to our next segment, Flip It. Will you be asking us the questions?
Yeah, so I'll literally flip it on one of the questions that you have. I'm curious when you guys are thinking about, considering going to college or picking a college, what's the number one factor that you guys think about when you're trying to decide what you want to do after high school?
Personally, it's not the money like everyone else is worried about. I'm just trying to think about what I want to do and what'll fit me best. And I'm more of a hands-on worker, and I like to work outside, so I'm actually planning on going into the trades. I have the job already, so I'm planning on sticking with that after high school and becoming an electrician.
Good for you.
Personally, I have always really wanted to work with children when I grow up, so my dream is to be a children's speech pathologist, and I kind of just focus on the main element of being happy, and I just really want to grow up and love my job, so that's what I focus on most, is being happy.
Great.
For me, I've always wanted to be a lawyer since I was young, so basically it's just kind of off of what I want to do and what makes me happy and which college I feel most comfortable with, and I kind of want to be close to home, so.
Yeah.
For me, to be honest, I don't really know what I want to be for sure yet. So going to college, I feel like it'll expose me to more career paths and all that, and hopefully I can choose or find a passion of what I really want to be. So yeah.
Got it. Okay. That was everybody, right? I lost count.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So my next question, this is relevant to my job, but also I'm just, curious, what type of advertising do you guys feel like most impacts you, and kind of drives you towards a purchase decision? Like what channel, which way, how are you influenced to purchase things?
I honestly think it's when, high schoolers or even younger 20-year-olds were always on Snapchat, going through those stories or going through Instagram or Twitter. And you'll notice a lot of ads and advertisement popping up on your Instagram feed, or when you scroll over and view the stories on Snapchat that are open to everyone. It's that kind of stuff, because that's what we're always looking at. So the more we see it, I think it's the more it's in our head and the more we might want something or the more we're looking into something or we want to learn more about it.
Got it.
Yeah, really, definitely. Social media is a really big impact on us as teenagers, and it's just the normal stuff. Like, I know people that have just been on Instagram scrolling through, and they see some girl wearing a jacket, and they're like, wow, that jacket's really cute, and then they go buy it. It's just people and advertisements on social media that really brings out a lot of America's purchases today. So,
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Like, if I see someone like wearing something or something that I like on the internet that someone just bought, I'm gonna be like encouraged to go and buy that as well.
Yeah, I agree with that. We tend to be more on social media than actually watching TV these days. Like, we can be on YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, and I feel like that's the best way to advertise whatever your product or whatever you want to sell.
Got it. So what outside of kind of impulse purchases, right? Which of those would be if you need to purchase something big, you want to buy a TV or a car, where do you go to get information about which one that you should buy?
I would just go on the internet and like look up and see which one's like the best deal or the best buy or good for me.
Yeah, or I don't know if you used it, but Facebook Garage got some good cheap deals too sometimes. So yeah.
Interesting.
I ask personal opinion mostly. Like, a lot of the stuff is like, if it's iPhone or Android, that's just you're going to have it and see how you like it most. Then for TVs, I just ask personal opinion for people who have had multiple of them or just anything in that category, what they think worked best for them, and then go for the most popular opinion. And then, of course, like, put price into that as well.
yeah, definitely. I agree with Zach. I really ask for people's personal opinions and people that have used it before.
Got it. So next question, if you guys could change anything about your education up until this point, maybe even specifically in high school, what would you like to see changed in the education system as you've come up through it?
Personally, our high school experience, they changed our grading system, I think 3 different times while I've been in high school, and they took away the finals and just made it so you had summatives as the test and then formatives as regular homework. I think I would have changed that and just stuck to one grading system since our freshman year. And then I would have kept the finals for people who are going to college. Because then once you go to college, not having finals for 3 years, then going into college, it's kind of going to throw you for a loop a little bit. I think they could prepare you better in high school if they stuck with that.
So I just transferred schools, actually, and before that, I really was focused on the grades and not more of the education I was getting. I was really focusing on what grades I was putting out and what GPA I was having in order to get into college. So now that I've transferred and I've kind of changed my mindset to my goals, I definitely more focus on what I'm learning and when I hear it, if that's what I enjoy, so it leads me to my career path. So in the education field, I would definitely change the way that people look at education these days.
I would probably change how my school in particular goes about like ACT, because I feel like that's such a big part of getting into college, and I feel like it's kind of rushed and it's all thrown on you your junior year, that you have to like nail it and like get it done that year, and there's not really any like kind of bringing up. Like, there's some here and there like your other 2 years, but like I feel like if they do it consistently throughout the other years, then you'd be ready to like nail it your junior year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would also change the ACT because I know many people that have like really outstanding GPAs and all that, and once it comes to the ACT, they like do so bad or don't like meet the goal that they wanted to, and sometimes that doesn't get them to the college they want to be, so or get into. So yeah, I'll change about the ACT.
Okay. All right. Last question. If you guys could move after college or after high school, if you could move to any state in the U.S., or any city in the U.S., which one did you move to?
I think anywhere south, because here in Wisconsin it's really cold, and right now it's like you're on a roller rink or something because it's so icy and all that. Yeah.
It's 78 in Florida right now. Come on.
Oh, really?
Down.
To be honest with you, I wouldn't be able to choose just one, just because it's not like I've been able to see the world or travel at all very much. But, I mean, I wouldn't mind going to California and learning how to surf, or living way up north and being able to go snowmobiling more and just seeing all that kind of stuff until I'd be able to choose the one. I'd like to see what I like most.
When I was like 8, on spring break, my parents took me to Arizona, and that was definitely the best place I've ever been out of everywhere. And ever since then, I've always wanted to go to Arizona State for college. So I definitely plan on going to college there and just living the rest of my life there.
Yep.
For me, I would want to go to New York City because I've always wanted to kind of experience what it's like to live in a big city, because I live in such a small town and it's like the same people every day, and I'd like to get out there and see like more of the world and like be in a bigger environment.
Yeah. Okay. That's all the questions I have, guys.
All right, Eric, thank you so much for joining us over the phone. We appreciate your insight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Best of luck.
Thank you. Kids in the Tank, out.